You're now listening to The Bryan Callen Show. Considered the hottest podcast in the universe. Now get ready for the heat. Here's Bryan Callen.
And this is The Bryan Callen Show. And I will be in Boston this weekend, starting, I think, tonight, Thursday, at Laugh Boston. I think we sold a lot of tickets. Last time I heard we sold, that's a lot of tickets. So I don't know if they're, I apologize if by the time you hear this, the tickets are not available, but I'm very excited about the fact that I can't believe I sold that many tickets in Boston. But anyway, Boston, Laugh Boston, tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. So come and laugh. I'm apparently the funniest comic in the world, ladies and gentlemen. The Vatican has called me the saint of comedy. And my guest, that low porno director's voice from the 70s, Skylar Stone.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
Doing
you should be you could play a porn director and a good one. You've got the voice for it.
Yeah.
You know?
I see. Well, and I also really like those kind, like Boogie Nights and American Hustle. I love like character pieces of like back in the day, like douchebags.
But you should play those characters.
I would love to.
I play those characters.
I'd love to.
You're better than I am.
I would love to. And I like con artists and stuff. I think you know that. We talked about, and something like that. I like the sleazy world, man. I like anyone with a one-track mind and what they're after. It's more interesting. Yeah, it's way more interesting.
Yeah, maybe because that's part of how I am. I mean, I'm not a scumbag, but I've always been drawn to the under tapestry.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And just because you're drawn to it too does not mean that's what you are,
No, but I'd rather, like, I look around sometimes, I'm hanging out with fighters and I'm hanging out with people who just weird artists, and I just find that more colorful. I'm not like that, but it's just something about it that seems to be more layered.
Do you have a lot of fighters on this podcast?
Well, I have a podcast called The Fighter and the Kid, so I'd have just fighters.
How many podcasts do you have?
I have 26. No, I have The Fighter and the Kid on Fox. I think we're the #1 podcast on Fox with Brendan Schaub, who's a heavyweight contender.
Really?
UFC, yeah. And then I have a podcast called the 10-Minute Podcast.
I know that one.
Yep. And then this one.
With Willie Mack.
Yeah. And this is the Bryan Callen Show because I couldn't think of a better name.
This is your 26th, but this is Skylar and Bryan interview on Tuesdays. That's what this is,
That's
right?
Exactly right. Well, I'm doing one on Mondays. I do somebody who's like an academic or somebody who wrote a book, and then on Tuesdays I do somebody in the entertainment business.
It's for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to actually make a joke. You could have made a joke there. On Tuesdays I do someone that I really don't want to do, but they asked me if they could do my podcast.
Exactly. I bring them in. No, I just find it's important to create color.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Tara Patrick on. I got you on.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah. St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why the acting world and stuff? What do you think it was?
For the most part, at a young age, I didn't really understand that acting was a job. I used to watch movies, and I don't know if I thought they were documentaries or what, but like I'd watch Muppets Take Manhattan. I'd be like, well, that obviously happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that took place.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't dawn on me that like somebody was like there was a team behind it. But once I found out there was a team, that also drew me to it because, kind of like, I've always liked you because I feel like you're just all about like, just the jokes you do about like, health and body and stallions and everything. Like I'm like all about team and brotherhood and camaraderie, you know what I mean? So when I found out that there were like crews, like a crew made a movie, that actually drew me to it more than anything.
Really?
Oh yeah. The fact that like for 4 months people get close and like, we're all like, dude, we're going to be best friends. And then like, you might talk to some crew members again. But
that's what's heartbreaking about doing a movie, man. And
yeah.
This whole business, you do a TV show for 13 episodes, it gets canceled. You do a movie, and you get close to those people. I've met some great people, and all you want to do is have it keep going because you get close to them.
It's really hard.
You're making money, everybody's relaxed, you're laughing all the time, and then it just goes away, and you never see them again.
Although I wonder if some of that has to do with like if you were in some hit movie that became like, because I got to think all the Hangover guys are pretty freaking tight because they've done like three.
I mean, a lot of those guys like Bradley and Zach I'd known forever, way before they became famous. So I mean, I knew Ken Jeong before that, and so I mean, I suppose it's true that you. But still, I mean, like for Bradley's a friend of mine, but I don't see Bradley because he's a movie star, and you just don't see people anymore.
Well, you accept that, like, okay, that guy, it's happening for him right now. Yeah. So, like, you just don't, like, if you text him and hit you back, you don't even judge. You're like, well, dude, he's being Bradley Cooper.
And the great thing about Bradley is he will hit you back because he's awesome. It might be, a couple of words, but the point is, I understand anybody like that. You get so busy, and I don't know, man. I think a lot of friendships too when you're younger. A lot of your friendships are based on what you want to do in the future. There's an adventure to a friendship, right? So if you're two young guys, you're like, dude, when we make it, then you get to be like my age, 46, and things are like, this is it. I got kids and a
Yeah.
wife, and that's my life.
Yeah.
And so everything else is, I don't know. This is it. I'm at a stasis. I mean, it's great that I'm doing what I love to do, but it's not like something's going to change drastically.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that maybe I go from playing clubs to theaters or something, but it's not going to change my life that much.
Well, yeah. Well, because you also shouldn't be counting on it too. Otherwise, you're gonna end up killing yourself. Because a lot of friends are like, well, dude, when I'm doing theaters, then I'll be happy. I'm like, no, get happy, and then maybe the theaters will. There's no.
Exactly.
It's not tied to it.
No, it's not.
But there's a quote that was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I fucking love it. Johnny Depp nailed the delivery on it, and it's something Hunter S. Thompson really said. I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but it's something to the effect of where at the end of the movie, here he's talking about the hippies and how they've done this. They try to do this huge thing and push the wave over San Francisco, and he goes, and if you just look and you look at the mountains in California right around where everybody and all that love was pushing it, you can see the watermark where we almost pushed it over and then it receded back. And I love that line because I just turned 35 New Year's Day. And I'm in this really weird, I can't explain it any better than I am more happy and more sad than I've ever been in my life. Because I have a girl and beautiful kids and I've got a lot of cool things going on. But at the same time, do you ever just miss your early 20s?
Yes.
Not just for the health thing, because everyone's like, oh,
no,
eternal
for the
youth.
adventure, man.
Just the fucking vibe.
Because I don't know what's going to happen. Like all of a sudden the air's colder. Fall's here. I wonder what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
That's almost like the first day of school. You're like, this is going to be the year.
Yeah.
And that's right. Or who am I going to meet? What new girl am I going to meet?
And now it's like,
what
no.
new job am I going to get?
Now it's like New Year's resolutions? Nope, none of you are going to do any of these things. I've seen this over and over.
Right.
We're a carousel. It's a fucking carousel.
Well, somebody said to me, they go, what's your New Year's resolution? I go, don't believe in them. I'm not fucking making a goddamn New Year's resolution at all.
Yeah. Everything just feels like a carousel. Like right now, everyone's in Hollywood. Everyone works really hard the next 2 weeks. But then on the Thursday before Martin Luther King, everything just falls. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, you can't get a hold of anybody right now. We're just winding down.
But don't you think the mystery of life breaks down too after a while? You're like, it's like when you see somebody who's really good at something, you're like, I wonder how they do that. But you get older and you're like, well, that's just a lot of practice and dedication to one thing. And then life is not, it's like what you realize is that nobody really knows any more than you do. At least that's where I'm at now. I'm 10 years older than you are. But so it's a little bit different maybe, but that's one of the things I think about my 40s. It's kind of different where you go, oh, I'm as impressed with you as I am with myself.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Well, because we've gotten close. Okay, there's that line in Wizard of Oz, like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. We get, with what we could do, we're behind the curtain.
Exactly.
I look over and I see Harrison Ford pumping gas, and I'm like, well, he's just a man with a gas bubble that he's working out inside. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, there's all these,
so fucking true.
They're all, you just start getting close to everything, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you just hear that But
here's what bugs me about life is, I was telling you, I got in a ring with this pro boxer and I was trying to hit him, which is impossible. And I'm not a fighter. I'm not a boxer, but
can you just be happy that you got in a ring with a boxer?
Well, I mean,
because I would never do that.
Well, that's what.
So you've already won.
Well, but what bothers me is that if you decide you're going to try to do that, in 9 minutes, I'm literally after 3 rounds wheezing for air. I just want to stop. But then I can go play tennis for a long time because I've been playing it for a little while, so I can kind of harness my energy. So what bothers me about life is that as a human being, if you haven't practiced at something, you're gonna suck, right? Like so you can take a professional boxer, that guy, and you put him on a mat, a jiu-jitsu mat. He's gonna get tied up in a fucking knot.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be exhausted in 6 minutes, but he's gonna punch your lights out if you stand with him.
Absolutely.
So life is, how much time do you have? If you want to be good at something, you got to dedicate your time to it because it's just a language.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you can't be good at everything because you got to sleep and you got to have a family and you got to eat and you got to do all that stuff. That's what's frustrating to me. I want to be a rock star, a movie star, a pro athlete. I want to be a poet and a great writer and a director, and I want to be Daniel Day-Lewis. So there are a lot of things that I have on my fucking plate that I can't see.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Who's your favorite actor?
Honestly, probably Daniel Day-Lewis. I have a poster of him in my room.
Thank you.
I literally have a poster.
If you're 35 and you have a poster of a guy in your room, you know you love that guy.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of posters of a lot of guys.
You do?
Oh yeah, dude. I get obsessed with people, man.
Who else?
I'm obsessed right now with Paul Tollett, the curator for Coachella. Like, he is like Jesus Christ to me.
Really?
All I do, I think about Coachella every day. Have you ever gone to it? It's the most beautiful 3 days of your life. And now there's 2 weekends. So I go both weekends, even though it's identical lineups both weekends.
And you're obsessed with this guy. Why?
He's figured out the coolest vibe and the coolest setting, and he's gotten together the coolest people to come to this event. It's 3 days. Well, now it's 6 days, but you have to pay twice if you want to go. I'm the only idiot that goes both weekends. The reason they made it 2 weekends is they were hoping to just make more money off more people that want to see the festival, on a different weekend. I go both weekends. I get a room for the whole week, and I go nuts. I go Hunter S. Thompson. Dude, the bands, everybody, like they were the ones to reunite the Pixies. They were the ones to reunite Iggy Pop and the Stooges for the first time in 18 years.
Wow.
They were the ones that said, oh, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg want to play? Cool, why don't we put them on stage, and then they can bring out every person that they discovered.
Including a hologram, right? Didn't they do that with...
Dude, Dre and Snoop came out, and first, like, Kendrick Lamar comes out. It's like, okay, Kendrick's cool. He's not part of the old school hip-hop vibe that I'm used to. I'm an old man. I want the 90s shit. That's cool, whatever. And so Kendrick gets off stage. Then all of a sudden, they fucking throw their dick on the table and bring out Warren G. Warren G fucking comes out, does 2 songs. Then he's done. He gets off stage. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Dre, did you discover anybody else in your lifetime? Yes, I think he did. 50 Cent comes out, does 2 songs. He gets off stage.
Wow.
Eminem comes out, does 3 songs, gets off stage, and then a fucking Tupac hologram.
That's crazy.
And I'm tripping so hard, I thought it was Tupac. So, I'm like, I told you he never died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow. Dude, would you rather, if you had your druthers, would you rather be a musician?
Yeah.
Really?
Not even a question.
Isn't that funny how so many actors feel that way?
Not even a question.
Who's your favorite? If I give you, you can be in one band and you can be one cover guy. Who's your favorite?
Wait, I can be in one band.
You could be one guy.
Okay.
In the history of music.
And I can be him for a period of time.
You can be 3 guys in the history of music.
Oh God. Oh, you're really doing it now.
Yeah.
David Bowie.
That's a good one.
Not even a question.
I'm with you on that.
David Bowie.
I'm with you on it.
For every reason. Because he's
an actor, theatrical.
He's a Renaissance. See, you're a Renaissance man. See, you're like me. Like, I look at the guys and I go, people are like, Skylar, focus on one thing. Why? Steve Martin doesn't. Steve Martin's done everything. He's written a play. He's written a book. Yep. He's amazing on Twitter. Yep. Like, he's fucking made every movie I've ever wanted to be in. Okay, I'd go David Bowie. I love the fact that he's done everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Including make out with Mick Jagger, which I might do.
By the way, so would I. It's like when I met Tom Cruise. I spent like a long time with him. Like I did a reading with him, and then I spent like an hour and a half with him, and I was like, I would make out with him. I'm straight as it gets. And I couldn't say no because it'd be rude. So I'd probably be like, well, here goes whatever. I'll make out with him. I don't give a shit.
What's funny, Brian, though, you're not kidding right now.
No. I would make out with Tom Cruise.
I know that. It's a lot of comics would say that for the mic. You're dead serious.
He's got a little head. He's kind of feminine, and I'd be like, fuck it. I'll tell all my friends.
Yeah. Wait, why did you hang out with him?
I did a reading.
Isn't that funny? You get invited to those sometimes. And
I
it's
know.
just
Well,
like...
Todd Phillips, he fucking, without Todd Phillips, I'd be nowhere. And he said, come and do this reading. And I was going to, I would have gotten the part probably if it had gone. He sent me a fruit basket that said, thank you for your time and talent.
Tom Cruise did?
Yeah, a huge fruit basket. Then I saw him.
See, that's why he's Tom Cruise.
Oh, he's the best.
That's why he's Tom Cruise.
I saw him 3 months later at an Oscar party with Madonna's there, everybody's around. And I ended up talking to him for an hour and a half about, I think his kid is my kid's age. And we just talked about kids, and we just talked about wrestling because he was a wrestler, and we talked.
He was a wrestler. That makes sense.
And then he wanted to know about stand-up, and he wanted to know about the acoustics in the room, and it was awesome, man.
Oh my god!
And I was like, maybe I'll be friends with Tom Cruise. No,
I'm the first to back him up because, dude, I honestly don't care about your personal life. If you bring something to the screen or the mic or anything like that, I really don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I mean, I read this book called Going Clear, which actually is a very good book about an expose on Scientology, and they talk about this guy David Miscavige, who's the leader. I guess he's kind of I don't know him, but he does not get painted in a very good light. They paint him as a sociopath. Mm-hmm. But whatever the case,
that's an overused term, by the way, in today's world. Yeah, everybody's a sociopath.
I don't care. I don't have I know a lot of Scientologists. I don't have anything against them, and Tom Cruise, if that works for him, it seems to work. He's the biggest movie star in the world. Whatever.
My favorite thing about hearing about him is like him and guys like Paul Walker. When Paul Walker died and all these stories came out about what a great guy he was, which I just didn't know because I just didn't really know much about him.
Yeah.
Like, it really inspired me because I know for a fact that if I died today, there would not be a million people going, God, just the greatest guy.
Dude, Tom Cruise is a great guy.
Yeah, I would polarize people. There are those that would say Skylar was so sweet. There are some that are like, oh my God, good riddance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that inspires me that like I've never met someone that's had a bad Tom Cruise experience.
No.
And that's something to aspire to.
Yeah, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So whatever, you can say whatever you want about his religion. I don't care. There are plenty of fanatical, I was thinking about this with Scientology. Like this book I read, there are a lot of, I I'm not a Scientologist. I don't really care. But there are a lot of people who go bad on Scientology. But there are a lot of fanatical Christian and Muslims out there.
Dude.
So, let's just take it easy here. Who do violence, by the way.
Let's not forget
who shoot people in the name of faith.
Let's not forget that a lot of the time the guys that climbed up to a tower and shot people, when they were found, there was a cross on their neck. You know what I mean?
So we all got to calm down.
Yeah.
So I say, join the Church of Scientology. That's the point of what we're saying.
So I'm going. So for the three, I'm going David Bowie.
Yes.
And again, because I feel like he's gone through every phase of life. Like he went through the New York, playing a guitar and just finding himself scene. Then he went into the glam scene. Is he a guy? Is he a girl? Is he into guys? Is he into girls? We don't know. There's a lot of cocaine on the table. He's into whatever's in front of him. So he keeps going. And then all of a sudden, he became like an aristocrat. And then all of a sudden, he's like in movies and he's doing children's films that have way adult themes like Labyrinth. And we're all watching it going, are we sure we should be watching this?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. And the songs are good and the puppets are good. And then all of a sudden, now he's kind of in this I'm rich, I live in New York, and I don't even leave my fucking penthouse. And once in a while I will just come. He just released an album in March, and if you don't have David Bowie's new album, you're an asshole.
Is it great?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Give it
He's still got it?
Of course he's still got it. He's David Bowie. We're talking about him right now.
You're right, dude. And he's got two different colored eyes. Let's throw that in there.
Let's put that in there, too. So David Bowie would be number one. Number two would be John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guitarist. I'd love to be him.
Not Flea and not Anthony.
No, because everyone says that I'm a lot. Anyone that's met Flea has said I'm a lot like him, and so I don't want to be someone that. Okay, so this is just me.
Yeah.
I want to be someone else. You know what I mean?
Really? Out of all the people, you want to be that guitarist?
Dude, he's such a sweet man. Again, another person where everyone says the nicest things about him, and he's written those beautiful, beautiful melodies in those songs, man. I mean, if you listen to Californication, that album, dude, it's so the one that came out '98 or something.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah,
and he also. He's gone through. I like guys that go through excessive phases. That's probably why I like Day-Lewis. I mean, Day-Lewis he makes a movie, becomes the character. You have to call him by the character name. He started that. Whatever Val Kilmer and everyone else is doing, they got that from Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
My Left Foot. He wouldn't move.
It's incredible.
They fed him with spoons.
Fucking incredible.
At lunchtime.
Incredible.
So I'd have to go John Frusciante because he's gone through every phase. He left music for 5 years and did heroin in a cabin for 5 years and came back and survived that. That's crazy to me. I want to try that.
Just opiates. I'm going to do opiates for
5 years.
Concentrated opiates for 5 years in a cabin.
Yeah.
It's called woodshedding. The jazz musicians used to call that. You're not supposed to go to heroin, but you're supposed to go to a woodshed and come up with and just practice 8 hours a day and come out with a totally new sound.
Yeah.
But heroin will get in the way of that sometimes.
Yes. Well, he actually came up with a new sound, but you could tell it was very heroin induced. Yeah. And then I'd say third, I'm going to go. Can I be a chick?
Yeah. I love that. I never even. That's out of left field, brother.
Yeah,
impressive.
Can I be Gwen Stefani?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I love the '90s, and I feel like she probably had a really good '90s experience.
I love her.
Yeah.
You love the '90s.
Yeah.
Why?
It's my favorite decade for a multitude of reasons, but I love the president. I love the times, and again, it probably has to do with. It's like my Stand By Me time. I'm coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm growing up. I'm finding dead bodies in the woods.
Good memories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm learning. You know what I mean? But I really love the '90s.
What? Let's talk about the next 10 years. What do you want?
Oh my gosh. I just thought about this the other day, and my friend goes, "That's good. That's a really good goal." He goes, "Whatever it takes to get to that, that's good." I used to have more specific goals, like I want to host the MTV Movie Awards one day, like little things like that. I want to be an SNL cast member, shit like that. But then I tested and I didn't get it. Did you ever test for SNL?
I did, and I just ended up doing Mad.
Yeah.
Once I did Mad, apparently you're not allowed to do SNL.
Yeah, that's actually a very hard. I think they've only let one person do that.
Yeah, Taron Killam.
Is that who it was?
Who was on for a little while. He's a buddy of mine, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, SNL isn't what it used to be because you don't get the same kind of ratings,
You don't get the same kind of ratings, and they don't really let one person get the focus, you know what I mean? That's a show where it really should be sink or swim, fight or flight, and whoever does get to the front, feature that motherfucker a lot. They used to do that. Mike Myers was in every sketch, you know what I mean? They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
About where you want to be in 10 years.
So the other day I was just thinking about this, and I said this to my buddy Mike, and I go, he asked me a very similar question, and I said, you know what I'd love to be, I'd love to be at a table and overhear a conversation like behind me or next to me, and they don't know that I'm there, and they're not saying this because I'm there. But you know how people take names and it becomes synonymous with something, like if you said something smart, like, oh, look at you, Bryan, you're a regular Einstein. You know what I mean? Or like you know, oh, nice camera shot. Look at you, you're a regular Spielberg. I would love for someone to say without knowing me I'm near, like, oh, you're funny. What are you, a regular Skylar Stone? Like, I'd love to hear that my name became synonymous with comedy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know that sounds stupid.
No, it makes a lot of sense. But I had a thought as you were saying
you'd
that.
have to get real big for someone to say that.
Well, I had a thought as you were saying that, though, because you're a performer, because everything all your goals are what other people are going to say about you. That's usually the mark of somebody who is a comic or is a performer.
Yeah.
But what do you think, but aside from the public embrace, because we all want to be loved.
Yeah.
What do you think your real need is? I don't know why I'm doing this psychology thing. I hate this. I'm not a psychiatrist. And I hate this stuff. I'm just curious. It just dawned on me that you're saying that how you want to be perceived. Basically, what's going to be on your tombstone, which is fine. Which is, I think, what most of us drive. I wonder if there's. Well, maybe that's exactly. Maybe we don't have to go any further.
Well, I thought you really want to create, like, honest. What do I need? I need to make up with my parents. That's probably what I want in the next 10 years.
Really?
Big time.
You need to make up with your parents.
Yes.
Now we're getting into the meat of shit. What do you mean make up with your parents?
We don't speak.
You and your parents.
Yeah.
You and your mother and father.
Kills me.
Why?
Oh my God. Where the hell to begin with that? I really polarize people, and I can get really obsessive about a certain thing, and I have a hard time letting go. I don't know why.
But did you come from a big family?
2 sisters. I'm the middle child. So the middle child usually is pretty out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what are you looking for? Why can't you let go of shit?
Well, with them, I just know that I'm right. Like if there's like a bow out and like people, you know what, we're taking a break, but then one person has a fall from grace and said bow out, but that person knows that what they did wasn't wrong. It's very hard to let go of that because I feel I'm very estranged and on an island.
Did they not raise you the way you wanted to be raised, or did they ignore you?
No, that's the funny thing. I think I had a great childhood and they were amazing.
Okay.
It's just the last few years have been weird, and I feel like they've gotten a little bitter and
how long has it been
so
since
gracious.
you've spoken to them?
Ooh, a long time.
How long?
My mom, couple years. My dad, that fallout just happened recently, like early November.
So you guys don't speak?
No.
Your mom doesn't call you?
Yeah, no.
What the fuck happened?
I think I'm blocked too, so I can't even call their cell phones because now
what
on
did
iPhones you can do that.
To piss them off that much?
I got really upset over something, and my dad, he wrote me a text. He goes, I need to tell you something about how I feel. And I said, I'd really rather you don't do that right now. I'm about to step on stage for a Conan O'Brien showcase, which I would love to be on Conan O'Brien. And I had a decent shot towards the end of the year, I think, because I had a movie coming out, Walking with Dinosaurs, and I had a good shot to get on a late night show and do stand up. And he didn't listen to me, and he wrote me the nastiest text ever, and it was really long and really personal, and I told him not to do it before I got on stage, and then I didn't even get on stage because the text undid me. I didn't know how to let it go, so I literally got in my car and drove home. Didn't even perform.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
What about mom?
Mom's weird, man. She's she's a great woman, and she's really funny, and I'm probably good at impressions because of her. She's been impersonating people my whole life in front of me.
What does she do for a living?
Now they don't have a job that they're very happy with because they just don't. But she worked in art galleries, and she did all sorts of things her whole life. Worked at a dentist's office, stuff like that. So yeah.
You think it's worth reconciling?
I want to, yeah. But I can't text them. I think they blocked my whole phone. I called obsessively one of their works after this happened over and over and over because I couldn't let it go, and so that really pissed them off because I kept calling over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell you how many times I called her one day.
Yeah, but that's interesting. There's got to be history to that in your childhood, right?
From being obsessive like that?
Yeah,
I've always been obsessive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But and that's a whole different thing. But what I'm saying is that with your parents being obsessive like that.
Mm-hmm. My mom's always been obsessive. My mom had weird things. I've had such a better life than them. My dad moved out here to be a screenwriter, and he was only out here a couple years, and his mom lived out here too. and she got in a nasty car accident and didn't have a seatbelt on, couldn't walk or hear the rest of her life, and then basically became a cripple. And my dad had to take care of her, and it was too expensive out here, so he packed up his dreams and went back to Kansas City. Still really chased his dream. All he really wanted to do was write. I think screenwriting was just the first thing he thought to do. He didn't think about advertising, and then he did think about advertising. So then he went into advertising in the Midwest and very successful. Won Clio's, Addies.
Wow.
So he made
a lot of money?
Yeah, he did very well.
Okay.
We had a great childhood. You know what I mean? We weren't millionaires, but I don't really remember ever hurting for anything.
So mom.
So mom, her parents. I don't know if you remember. I think you're old enough to remember this. Do you remember in 1982, the Hyatt Hotel in Kansas City? It was the biggest architectural disaster of all time in American history. The Hyatt Hotel, there was a skywalk and it collapsed, and it killed like 156 people that were on it.
Jesus.
Yeah, and my mom's parents were on that, and they were crushed by the concrete. Died instantly, and that changed my mom forever. I really feel like that gave her. I don't know. I think that changed her in some way because I definitely remember some obsessive moments with her, and she back then you didn't really go to therapy. You go to therapy now.
Do you go to therapy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every week.
And you talk to see what how's it working for you?
He's advising me not to talk to them. He thinks that I need to just focus on me, and if they ever come back around, they come back around. But he said sometimes it doesn't work out the way that you see in the movies.
Really?
That's what he's telling me. He's a realist. He's not like, he does not come from any sort of a spiritual advising standpoint. He doesn't come from
my issue wouldn't be so much. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know. But my issue would be if you're not talking to your parents. There's one thing that I'm going to stake to my principles, and I'm right. But there's also something called forgiveness, which I think is way more liberating, and it's hard to live the way you're living, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So sometimes it's.
So I'm planning a wedding right now too, and like I'm getting married in July, and like the thought of inviting like all my family members with how many riffs there are. But see, it's not just me and them. My sisters don't talk to each other.
Really?
There's a lot going on.
Why don't they talk to each other?
Oh man,
this is grudge holding, man.
Oh, that goes on in my family, and I hate it.
Yeah,
grudges
don't do anything.
I do it all the time with people, and they're like, "Where did you learn this?" It's like a drug commercial. Who showed you this? It's like, well, I've been watching it.
Yeah.
So my sisters don't talk. My parents don't talk to me. And then once in a while, my mom will fall out with my little sister as well. It's crazy.
I had a conversation with a guy named Hiron Gracie, who's one of the best jiu-jitsu teachers and practitioners in the world. Mm-hmm. He's from the Gracie family. And I was really impressed with him. He did my podcast, The Fighter and the Kid, with Brennan Schaub. He and his brother, Henner. These two guys, handsome dudes, like 6'4", and they've been wrestling their whole life. They're just fighters. And they have an incredible school in Torrance and Beverly Hills, and they make actually a lot of money teaching jiu-jitsu. They created an online university for jiu-jitsu, so if you're in Kansas and you can log on. Anyway, but I was really impressed with these guys. I've never met. They're so clear and they're so smart. And one of the things I said to Hiron, I said, "What's your philosophy, man?" He goes, "Never take anything personally. Nothing. Take nothing personally. It's never about you." And I went, that's something I've been working at for about 10 years myself, even longer, because it's true. The idea that anytime taking anything personally, anything, especially in this business, is a horseshit proposition, because it never, ever does anything good for you. And so
even if you have the right to, it's not about you. It's not but even if you have the right to take it personally, you're saying it
doesn't help you.
It just doesn't help.
In
so
any
why
way.
do it?
And there's a great deal to be gained from forgiveness. There's a great deal to be gained from saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to stop judging you and being mad at you. I'm going to start loving you. Fuck it. I'm just going to start loving you. There's a huge thing. I remember this guy said his brother was a fuck up, and I know this guy very well. His brother was a fuck up, and he always was giving him money. Finally, he said, it just killed him. He said, I'm cutting my brother off. He can't get his shit together. He said, what do you think I should do? And I said, I think you should double his allowance. And the guy goes, what are you talking about? I go, you love him, right? He goes, yeah, but he's an asshole. I go, yeah. You going to cut him off? How's that going to make you feel? Well,
Yeah.
And I said, double his allowance. Stop judging him. Start loving him. He is what he is. He's too fragile for this world. He's too fucked up for this world. Stop judging him. Start loving him. That's a lot easier, man, because it's called lowering your expectations. So you have a contract.
I have high expectations of people,
especially of your parents. You have a contract that you created and entered into without them even knowing, and they did the same with you. And a lot of people do this, where I'm going to do something for you, and you better do something for me. This is how people are. And I think, I don't believe in those kinds of things. And I don't believe in high expectations. I just don't. The only thing I believe in is high expectations for myself, sort of. I don't even believe in that.
Yeah.
I just literally, when I write and what I do, I say, like this podcast, my only expectation is to somehow create some inspiration for whoever. I don't know who's listening. I don't know how many people. A lot of times, I don't pay any attention to my rankings on iTunes. I never looked at it, not once. Sometimes
Really?
Mike will tell me, my producer will tell me, but I never look at it, never. And I don't listen to any good reviews or bad reviews. Don't listen to them because it has nothing to do with why I'm doing this. I don't have any expectations for this. I don't even have any expectations for my career. I just do this. I just do what feels right, what feels honest, and I keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I keep writing for the sake of writing, not for the sake of anybody else's approval. I really don't. And I've come to that conclusion, and that works really well for me. Joe Rogan gets 8 million downloads a month or something now. Joe's never set out to be really wealthy, really popular, or anything. Joe's only goal was peace of mind and authenticity. That's all that motherfucker wants to do. I want to be authentic. Joe will, at his own inconvenience, as he's got to tell the truth to himself. That dude never lies to himself, man. It's always about the truth, and it might be.
You don't think he lies to other people?
No, if he does, he owns up to it. But I've known Joe for 20 years, and his God has always been. We call it the pesky truth. It's like you got to tell the truth, and especially to yourself.
Yeah.
Man, to yourself. And he's such a good friend. He'll call me on my shit when I'm lying. So, and vice versa. So lowering your expectations and not having a contract with your parents is a good idea. I think. I don't know how else you're supposed to live. I actually don't agree with living any other way because I don't think it's possible. Because I think you're going to set yourself up for disappointment every single time. If you enter into any kind of a relationship with anybody and you decide that here's what I need from them and I better get it. Same thing with marriage. I hate to say it. Now, in your marriage, you don't want to bang other guys. You want her to put you in, first and all that stuff. I get it. This is fine. There are expectations that are needed in a relationship.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to be very careful with expecting people to behave toward you the way you have decided you should be treated, because people have their lives and you are almost always a footnote in their life. That's how it is with everybody. We're all footnotes.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll remember this conversation maybe till you get to your car, but it doesn't matter. Nobody has time, especially when you have kids, especially when you have a wife, especially when you have a life and a career. Even then, you're not thinking about them. So, in my opinion, just be careful with that. And there's much more liberating to forgive and to lose. Surrender. Whatever you're trying to win, you're not going to. And, oh, by the way, there's no prize. All there is just anxiety and heartache. So that's the prize of this, of trying to be right, which is what you're trying to be, and so are they. Much better and much more liberating to go, you know what? Here's the chessboard. I'm going to throw it in the air. I'm not playing your game. I forgive you, and I love you.
But can I ask you this?
Yeah.
How come I'm always the one that has to do the thing you're proposing to do?
Oh, because that's your lot in life, and it's a good thing.
How come? But what? Like the advice you're giving me? How come someone's not giving that to them? Going, just forgive him for calling you 86 times in a row at your office.
Oh, who cares? Just it doesn't matter. I mean, I just think that none of those questions matter. All that matters is you go, you know what? Water under the bridge, if you can.
Do you hold grudges?
No, I don't.
There's not someone right now that you hate for something they fucking did to you.
No.
Come on.
No.
Callan.
There's really not. There's not. I haven't been wrong that much, but I have been wrong.
It's not a comic you've helped out and then they just turn out to dick you over.
I've helped people out, but I do it not because I'm looking for something. I just do it because it's my nature. I don't think about that. I've never done that. I've never expected. I've never lent money and gotten it back, but I've lent a lot of money out.
No one's ever paid you back?
No. But I've
That's
lent
crazy.
it out. Actually,
I've been paid back.
I'll tell you the only person that's ever paid me back, and I'm sorry to call him out, but this is a compliment, Adam Hunter. I lent Adam Hunter some money one time. That dude paid me. He's the only person.
I can see him paying back.
Adam Hunter was like, he was young, and he didn't ask me. Mm-hmm. And I said, dude, you need money. I'm going to give you some money. And he's like, no, I can't. he was like taking it was so hard for him. That dude had no money. He paid me back. That dude paid me back. And he did everything he could. He called me about, I'm going to pay you. I was like, dude, relax. That guy, that's a guy with character.
Yeah.
He's a bad motherfucker. And I love that kid. So, and just because I've lent people money and they haven't paid me back, I didn't lend it to him. I gave it to him. Don't lend anybody money. That's a great way to lose a friend. If somebody needs money, give it to him. Give it to him and say, I don't want the money back. I'm giving this to you. Don't ever pay me back.
Yeah.
Because then they got something on you and they're going to avoid you. They're going to feel shitty every time they see you. No. Nobody wants to be in a position where they need help, but we all need help.
That footnote thing is interesting because I think that's why I look back at, remember I said the Hunter S. Thompson quote?
Yeah.
I talked about looking back at your 20s. Like, I think that's why I get sad lately because I'm realizing, oh man, it's like, whoever you start out with, that's not necessarily, it's not everybody gets to be Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and buddies and make it together and have families at the same time. Like I look back, like the people I thought would be in my wedding party when I was 20, when I moved out to Los Angeles, it's not the fucking people that are going to, like, it's everything changes and we really are footnotes, dude. And even the people that are going to be in my wedding party, they may not be friends for life. They're my friends right now. And so it makes sense to have them there. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in 5 years? I might be a smaller footnote in their life. Yeah. I just find that depressing. I don't know why.
Well, that is life in adulthood is a bit of a heartbreak.
Yeah.
All my friends that I used to roll with and just had a great time, we had all these expectations. I don't really hang out with them anymore.
Really?
Yeah, some of them are very successful, some not so successful, but life moves on.
Who's someone you hung out with a lot that you just don't hang out with anymore because just for whatever reason? Anyone I know?
Probably Bradley and Will Arnett, Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett, but they're busy.
Yeah.
But Bradley's a movie star. Will's doing a TV show. People get busy.
Yeah.
Things happen. And but there are a lot of people like that where you had 2 or 3 years of great times.
Yeah.
And then we all get older.
Yeah,
we were in our
weird.
30s.
Yeah.
And now I'm in my 40s, and so is Will, and that's what happens.
You're not 46, are you really?
Isn't that amazing? Look at how tight my skin is.
You take care of yourself, buddy.
They call me Benjamin Button. I'm a beautiful man, and I got a really sexy voice when I do this. I don't know. I this turned into a big psych session. I'm like talking to you. It's
exactly what's on my mind though. Even if we were on something else, it's always right there. Like,
so why don't you let it go?
Oh man,
what are you holding on to?
Neither one of my sisters called me on my birthday to wish me happy birthday because they know that I'm fighting with my parents, and that bothers me too. Why can't I let that go?
Well, we all want to be loved, and it's outrageous that they didn't call you and all that.
My first lead role in a studio movie came out in theaters. Not one family member contacted me to say,
movie?
Walking with Dinosaurs just came out a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome.
And
how'd it do?
One of the leads. It did all right, not that good.
And you're one of the leads? Mm-hmm. Who's in it?
Justin Long.
He's good.
John Leguizamo.
John's my boy. I did a movie right along with him. Yeah.
Oh, you're in. That's right.
Yeah.
I knew that. I was texting
John.
you while you were shooting that.
Johnny.
I'm pumped for that, man.
Huh?
I think that's going to do
Should
good.
be good. Yeah.
Do you pay attention how a movie's tracking or anything?
Nope.
What about the Monday after it came out? Do you
Nope.
go on Box Office Mojo?
Nope. I've never done that in my life. I've never done any of that. I don't check my reviews after my stand-up. I don't look at. I've never in my life. I don't do it. I get.
What about on Twitter? Your mentions.
I get nice tweets. Yeah, from people.
Do you get some mean ones?
No.
No.
But that's probably because I think I'm good at comedy. I think I'm really good at stand-up. I mean, that's the one thing I know I'm good at. Everything else, I don't know. But I don't know. By the way, it wouldn't matter. And they're right. I'm not afraid of criticism. I've gotten criticism from some people. I was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I got a couple guys who were like, dude, you're a blowhard. Stop dropping books that you've read. Stop talking
I don't think you're a blowhard. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
But in this case, I was probably a little bit. I was talking about stuff that it was like, come on, Brian, just
but
be
you
funny.
read it.
Yeah.
No, but you read it and you feel that way.
Yeah, but a lot of people who are younger are like, look, just don't fucking stop quoting authors.
Who told you you're being
just a couple guys. And
who were they?
And they, by the way, I reached out to them. I go, you know what, you might be right. And then they were like,
who were they?
I don't know their names. But I said, you might
They're
be
footnotes in your life.
I said, you might be right, bro. You might be right. And the guy goes, it was great because he had a Boston Red Sox hat on and he was in a boat, a whaler, and he was a fisherman, and he just looked like a regular dude. And I was like, the guy has a point.
Yeah.
He wants to fucking listen to Rogan. He doesn't want to listen to some dude like acting like an academic, which I'm not. And I went, he's right. And I said, you know what, dude, I'm sorry. It's just fun to be a blowhard sometimes. And he goes, fuck you. I hated you and now I'm following you. Well, there you go.
That's funny.
And because, no, I'm not trying to win anything. And he had a point. There's something about my last special. It was good. It was okay. I didn't like it. I couldn't even watch it to edit it, and it's way too long. But Rogan called me and he said, dude, you could be one of the funniest comics in the world, but you put too much English on the ball when you're playing pool. Too much. He said, you're not really being as great as you can be. Wow. One of my best friends. Guess what? He was right. I took it. I looked at it. I chewed it up. I digested it. I'm writing better than I've ever written in my life. My shit now is so much better. I can't tell you. Thank you. Thank you.
But what was he? I don't. What
he wasn't being mean. He was being complimentary. But he said, take a look at where else you could be. He said, just take a look over here. You might want to start writing from a different angle because that's who you really are. And I went, you're right. That's what a real friend does. Instead of me going, he's wrong. How dare? No. Thank God he said that. Thank God.
What does too much English on the ball mean, though?
Just a little too much jumping around and a little too much crowd-pleasing stuff as opposed to writing from my heart. It's okay. It's what everybody goes through as an artist, as a comic, as a whatever. It's just a process. No big deal. Now I do the exact opposite, and it's way more liberating, and he was right. Sometimes people can criticize you, and they're wrong, and if people criticize you and don't tell you how to get out of it, you might not want to listen to those people. But don't be afraid and shy and attack criticism. Just let it. Just listen to it for a sec and then move it out of your head or digest it if there's some truth to it. No big deal. So much of this shit is about, in my opinion, letting go, surrender, not trying to do anything. You talk to any boxer when you're hitting mitts, you'll hit way harder if you try to hit light.
Really?
You try to hit hard, your body tightens up. If you're trying to just hit light, just so you don't hurt your hands, your punches will have way more zing.
That kind of makes sense. Like you're.
Whatever the case, I'm using a shitty metaphor, but I mean,
Are you being a blowhard right now, Brian?
I'm being a little bit blowhard. A little bit.
I don't think it's being a blowhard.
I don't think you should be fucking. I don't believe in this bad blood with your family.
Yeah.
I don't think you do either.
Do you talk to your parents?
Yeah.
Are they both alive?
Yeah.
Are they married? Still together?
My father went through a very hard time in his life, and when I was younger, and we didn't talk too much.
Really?
And a little bit for a little while. He was a little mad at me because he thought I was a fucker, which I wasn't. But I was this actor.
He thought you were what?
I was an actor trying to make it, and he just didn't get it. He grew up poor. He was probably even a little jealous of the fact that I was a spoiled kid who got to follow his dreams while that dude had to work construction. So I kind of realized that, and all I did was just kept just being showing up. And ironically, the reason my father and I have such a great relationship, and he's always been one of my heroes, but what was ironic about it was my father was a guy who I think respected how enthusiastic I was between successes. He saw how I was enthusiastic and I kept going even in failure. That's what ultimately, it wasn't my success.
That won him over?
Yes. But I always understood. I always got it. I was like, I need, when I think back on how patient he was with me as a kid and how much support he gave me, I was a fucking little donut, okay? I would have smacked me right in the mouth. And
what do you mean a donut?
By the way, I'm talking about into my 20s.
What do you mean a donut? What's a donut?
A fucking donut, a zero, just running around like blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I thought you meant fat or something.
No, I was fucking a skinny.
Brian Callen was never fat.
I was 165 pounds, but if you talk to me, you'd be like, Brian, how big are you? I'm 6'4", 250. That's why I was a donut. Somebody needed to smack me around. Thank God I did some fighting and wrestling. That's what, as a kid even, that's what always kind of humbled me. And I realized, there are guys out there that could throw a blonde wig on me and turn me into their concubine. Thank God. You need to be humbled. I'm studying French. How about that as a segue?
You really are?
Yeah.
Why?
I used to speak French and I lost it.
And now you want it back?
Why? Because I just want to be able to be like, oui, je parle français.
What does that mean?
Je parle français couramment. Et toi? I speak French fluently, and you? Which I don't. But again,
but at least you know
I know how to say that.
Sell it, yeah.
I at least know how to lie in French.
Yeah.
I have an excellent accent.
I know no languages.
Have I gotten through to you?
You have actually, in some ways. I'm having a hard time getting over the text my dad wrote me that it made me not perform and not get a late night spot. But
he didn't know that.
No, he did.
Well, he was mad at you.
He still did it. See, but you keep giving him excuses.
Yeah.
What if I'm actually right? And you
are probably right, but who cares? How is being right working out for you?
Oh, okay.
Besides
Dr.
eating
Phil.
away at you, right? I don't know. I just know I've made more mistakes than you have probably, so that's why I can go.
I don't know about that.
But I'm going, listening. I've been there. Yeah.
How many times you been arrested?
Twice.
Yeah, I think I made some more mistakes than you.
Yeah. You've been arrested how many times?
There's a mic on, buddy.
I love it.
It's all funny stuff. I mean, none of it's like it's
Being
not
a silly goose.
Yeah, you know. I'll tell you. I'll tell you the scariest time I ever got arrested. I hadn't drank in a long time, and we all know when you take a good break, you don't exactly do well the first time back at drinking. And so I did a little mixing, had some champagne, had some vodka, had some beer, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. Mm-hmm. And I was downtown at the Nokia Center. I was seeing Will Ferrell was hosting this charity event. Swartzen was on it, and Tenacious D, and Tim and Eric. I mean, it was a cool show. Rob Riggle.
I gotta get Nick on the podcast.
Oh God,
what is he doing?
He's amazing. He's being Nick somewhere. I love Nick Swartzen. So I'm down there, and I get really, really drunk, and the show is inspiring, and I go running out into the courtyard that is that huge LA Live Nokia area. And my friend goes, you know, it'd be so funny. And I'm the kind of guy, like, I'm totally Steve-O or Knoxville. Like, if I'm drunk and you go, you know, it'd be funny. I'm like, let's do it. Like,
right.
I'll totally do it. And so he's just like, you know, I dare you to just smack dudes' asses that are like way bigger than you and see if you can get away with it. I'm like, awesome. So I literally would go up to the biggest vatos you've ever seen. I mean, just wearing Laker jerseys, tear fucking tattoos on their eyes. Like, I'm not kidding, man. So I went around and I'd smack an ass and then I'd turn around and just act like I didn't do it. And I'd just stand there. And, you know, half the time they wouldn't figure out who it was because they'd be like, motherfucker, who was that? And they'd look everywhere. And half the time they come like, did you just smack my ass? I'm like, why would I? Are you kidding me? Like, I look at them like, no. Like, I acted scared. Like, and I got some sick like pleasure out of getting away with it and then completely performing. So finally, I smacked one dude's ass who did not find it funny. But instead of kicking my ass, which he probably should have, he calls 911. So the police show up. What? Yeah, and I don't remember this part because now I'm definitely hammered. I'm running around the courtyard, and my buddy that was with me, Scott, said the way that it went down was he's standing against a pole laughing his ass off. Police are all of a sudden coming out. They've got hands like on their guns, hands on their nightsticks, looking for whoever this this terrible man is
who assaulted the other guy.
Exactly. So they're looking around, and they came over, and all of a sudden they grabbed me. That's kind of what sewed me up. They grabbed me, and they brought me in their car. And for some reason, I was so drunk. All I could say was, "How did you figure out it was me? How did you know it was me?" They're like, it wasn't too hard, like, because apparently I never stopped. So they got there and they watched me just smack asses and like get away with it over and over and over and over.
Where was the guy who did that? That you did? Who
the one that
called
told
the
on
cops?
me?
Yeah.
I never got to talk to him.
And what happened? They let you go?
No. Well, no. I had to spend the night in jail, but I think they just wanted to scare me. Sometimes cops really just they're like, dude, we're not gonna take this all the way, but like, just don't. We're busy. We don't have time for this shit.
Busy.
We're fucking busy, dude.
Yeah.
There's fucking rapes. There's shit. We got real shit. You know what I mean? And I'm wasting my time with you. So sometimes they take you and they don't really book you. They just put you in a room they put you in a cell and scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And dude, they came in. Oh, Bryan, dude. The one time I remember, I'm like, I'm so glad that's not on tape and that hasn't been released on YouTube. The only time I remember crying as an adult man to another man, like, please don't do what you're saying you're going to do. And dude, I've been in a lot of situations where I probably should have cried. This is the only time I ever cried. I was bawling. They go, listen, the charge that comes to mind isn't assault because you didn't hurt him, but you did touch him in an area that you aren't supposed to touch another human being, meaning his ass. They're like, so, you know, we're going to go ahead and file this as sexual assault. You're going to have to sign up for, what is that thing where you...
like sexual...
the pedophile thing, Megan's Law. You have to sign up. And when they told me that I was going to be on Megan's Law, like, over a fucking...
Your life
I'm
is over.
spanking big dudes' asses. I'm not touching kids or... I'm not...
That's ridiculous.
It's not a woman. When they told me that, I started crying. Like, please just let me out. Just. And then finally, like a little bit later, they just came in and like, hey, we're going to let you out. You got a ride? And I'm like, yeah, I could find a ride. I didn't even have a ride because I never called.
Let me get the fuck out of there. Yeah.
I just got out of there and I literally just hailed a cab, which took a long time, by the way. Hailing a cab in Los Angeles is not like Manhattan.
No, it's not.
Like you could be standing there for an hour and a half. Like you could watch The Hangover in the amount of time that it takes to find a cab, you know? So, yeah.
That's fucking great, man.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
You had a life. You have a good voice. Do you do voiceovers?
I do. Yeah. Easy drinking Busch Light. Ice cold easy.
Do you do that?
That's me. Yeah, I do Busch Light. I do Ford right now. I do Coke Zero. I do.
You're making money.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah. Not complaining.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
You do all those. I was like, oh, he's got a good voice.
Yeah.
What do you do for Ford?
Fiesta. Ford Fiesta. Yeah.
Wow.
I did they had a big campaign over the summer that tied with Bonnaroo, and so I did those ones.
That's huge.
And I've done Walmart. I've done Arby's. Yeah, I've done a lot of them.
Who's your agent?
DPN.
You hear that, everybody? Are you doing any stand-up?
Yeah, I do stand-up. I got my monthly show at the Improv, which you haven't done in a while.
I'll do it.
Are you... Wait, when is this right now?
Thursday.
This is Thursday?
This is Thursday, January 8th.
January
9th. January 9th.
January 14th, 10 p.m. Do you want to do it? Comedy Rocks, Tuesday the 14th. Are you in town?
I can do that.
All right, cool.
The Improv?
Yeah, Improv in Melrose. I do a monthly show. It's called Comedy Rocks.
Come check it out, everybody.
Just check me out on Twitter at the Skylar Stone.
At the Skylar Stone.
Yeah, because someone took
name.
Skylar Stone.
All right, kids. That was Skylar Stone. This is Bryan, the Kid Callen. They call me the Kid. I already mentioned that. So cheesy. And I'll be in Boston this weekend. Come see me at Laugh Boston, you bastards. I will be funny. Yeah, later.
You've been listening to The Bryan Callen Show. Be sure to visit bryancallen.com for information about this episode as well as past and future episodes. You can follow Bryan on Twitter at Bryan Callen and like him on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Bryan Callen Comedy. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.